Hi guys, I'm going to colour up this beauty out of Nicholas Filbert's new book Serene or Serene, and this one's called Purpose, so let's go in and have a look. Hi guys, I've printed this image on Express Blending Card A4 size just for this video. It's a little bit easier to work on and I wanted to do marker on this one. So I hope you enjoy it. I really loved it. This is one of the first that I've done. I've already started another one, so you'll see a few out of this book. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. So let's pop in and we'll have a look at what I'm doing now. So first of all, I'm coming in with all the shadow areas. I decided not to do a layer over the skin to start with. I've just started straight with the darker color today. So I've got E04 and I'm just going in all the shadow areas. So with this, it's kind of a grayscale image, so it was quite easy to sort of pick where to put those shadow areas because they are almost always already worked out for you. So anywhere where there was darker areas on the image, I've gone over with this color here for the skin. So it's pretty straightforward. So again, this one came out of Nicholas Filbert's book Serene or Serene, I think it is actually pronounced, and I think it's like nearly at the end of the book. I really love the flowers in the image, they're absolutely beautiful. Anyway, I'll put the description to the flip through in, I'll put the link to the flip through review in the description below, and I'll also put where you can purchase the book. This one I got from Etsy. It's the only place that I've seen it available, so I don't know if it's available on Amazon or anything else yet at this stage. The other ones that I have done are Fantasia and Serene. Both of them I think you can get on Amazon. So yeah, as I said, I have actually never physically ordered anything off Etsy. This is the first time I've actually received a physical book, and they were fantastic. Just loved them. So easy to buy from, and they were really great with their communication and things like that as well. So I'll pop that link in the description below. Okay, so I've swapped out now from the E04 to E11, and I'm just going over that previous colour and extending this further out. So pretty much very straightforward, this video. There won't be a lot of talking through it. I just did want to mention though that this week I have released galaxies using pencils on Patreon, so if you're interested in something like that, you can pop over there and have a look. Also, the conversion chart and colour list for this one is also available for patrons as well, so they'll be over at Patreon, and the link is in the description below as well. Okay, so I'm swapping out now and I've gone in for the next lightest colour, so I'm using E21, just going in and extending this colour a little bit further out. I'm actually running out of ink in this one, so you can tell that's actually happening because I have to put a little bit more pressure on the marker to get that to flow nicely. So I've just sort of drawn in the features now around the nose and the eyes, and also doing underneath the cheekbones and things like that. So I'm just popping those areas in now so that they're nice and have a lot of depth in them when we come through to the top colour. Okay, so I've got E00 now, and I'm just going to go over the previous colour and extend this further out. So there'll only be a small area now left that'll be white paper, which I've left just to come in with that E000. So this is sort of lightening up all of the colour that we've previously done, and I'm extending it a little bit further out. So it's giving it a nice smooth and shiny look. And then finally I'm coming over with E000, and I'm just going over the top of everything now. So making sure that that colour is nice and blended out to the next colour, and that we're kind of trying to, I guess, desaturate it a little bit. We're making it sort of all nice and blended in together, and it looks like it's melting in together. So I'm going to do a second layer on this one because I am using the Espresso. I really quite like doing that second layer. It gives it a little bit more depth and it makes it really stand out more. So I'm just going to repeat from the darkest colour to the lightest again. So just before I do that second layer, I've got R43 and I've got some R20. I'm going to put some R43 around the bottom of the eyes there just to do the little pink parts of the eyes. And I'm going to use the R20 for the cheeks. Just using a little bit of E000 there to blend that out. Please excuse Shadow, my cat, in the background there. She's a Bengal, so she's very talkative and noisy. So I'm doing that R20 and I'm just going to blend that off again with that E000 just to make it nice and smooth there. And then we're going to come in and I'll do a second layer of all of the skin colours again. So I've got some E04 again. That was E04. And then I'm swapping that back out for the E11 again just to blend that out a little bit further. And then I've got that E21 again, just bringing that further down now. Making sure that I go around all the areas that I marked out earlier that are a little bit darker, so under the cheekbones there, around the chin and on the right side of the face there. Okay, so I'm going to swap out now for the E00 and just go over most of that skin area now. So just leaving the small highlighted sections now for the lightest colour. And then I'm going in again with that E000. So finishing off, going over everything, going from the highlight sections out towards those shadow areas now. So you can see that that second layer did definitely deepen up the colour in the face and in the body there. So you can see lots more detail and depth in there. Okay, so that's the skin done. So I'm going to just do a little bit of the eye up here, just leaving the white spot in the middle there free. I'm using B06 for blue eyes on this one. I'm not going to blend out with any other colour because it was quite dark in there. As I said, it is kind of a grayscale image, so there was already a lot of darkness in there, so the blue was quite light just to lighten up in those whiter areas. So I'm using some R59 now for the lips. I'm just outlining the lips with this one. And I'm putting this into the darker areas, so between where the lips close together and also a little bit on the bottom lip there and the top as well. Okay, so I'm just going to swap out for the next marker. I'm going to use some R29. I think this is pretty much one of the only ones I didn't show the cap on, so sorry about that. But yeah, this is R29. And then I've got R27 there just to finish it off. I'm just going to put a little bit more skin colour around the bottom lip area there. I think it's a little bit wide, so I'm just going to push the ink in towards the lip a bit more. So I'm using the E21 there to create a bit of a shadow, and then I'll just blend that out with the other skin colours. So I'm just going to grab my white pencil and I'm just going to put a little bit of a highlight on there. Now, I actually decided to put some white gel pen on there at the end, so I'll go back over that later on at the end, just to brighten it up a little bit more. And I think that having such a bright highlight is a really good contrast, and it made the lips look a little bit better. So I'm coming in now with some R59 on these roses. I'm just filling out the darker areas with this colour. Now, I didn't really have a colour sort of scheme in my head. I just sort of was going along as I was coming to the flowers, so I am a little bit sporadic and do a few different colours here and there first, just to make sure I've got a good colour base, and then I'll go in and fill out the rest of the flowers. So I've got R29 and I'm just extending that further out. And then I've got some R27 and I'm just finishing that off. Now, a little bit later, I will change the colour of the leaves, a little bit lighter petals, on these roses, but for now I'll do this colour. Also, I'm putting a little spot of white on the edge of each of these flower sections, just to really make them look shiny and have a light reflection on them. Okay, so I'm coming back to R59. I'm just going to do some shadow areas on a few of these flowers. And I'm just going to swap for the R29 and come a little bit further in. This time I've grabbed the R14, so it's a little bit lighter, and I think that sort of made those little sort of highlighted bits a little bit brighter. So you don't have to do that, you can stick with the colours you had previously, but yeah, I decided to go a little bit lighter. So that was R14. So I'm going for the flowers on the top of her hair there, and also the larger flower around her neck. I'm going to use some YR07 and just go into all of the shadow areas. So as I said, because it is a grayscale image, just copy over the shadow sections that are already there and in there for you. So there's no sort of working out where things need to go because it's already marked in there for you. So I've swapped that out now again, and I've got some YR15, so YR15, and I'm just going over the top of that previous colour. I've got a slight area left over for white, for the highlighted area, so make sure you do leave a little bit of room for that as well. So now I've just got Y13, and I'm just going over the remainder of that flower. So it's quite nice and bright in those sections there, and it's going over the top of those previous colours, so you still got that yellow coming through on the top of it. I'm just going to deepen up the orange again with YR07 and just go back into those shadow areas. And I've swapped back to that YR15. So we're just deepening up these darker areas to make the lighter areas pop out more, just giving it more depth. And now we're coming back to that Y13 and just finishing off that again. So I did do some of the Y13 in the middle as well. So just adding a little bit more depth into the middle of the flower. I've got some Y38. Before I do that, I'm going to use some E15. So with the yellow colours, it's good to put a brown underneath them because otherwise they sort of blend out really well together and you can't tell there's a difference in colour. So now I'm going to go over that E15 with some Y38. I've got some Y15 there as well. Just blending that back out with the Y13. So we've done the middle of that flower. So I'm going to do the other orange flowers very similar. I've just grabbed my white gel pen there to do some of the highlights. As I said on the lips and that, I think they needed a little bit more a brighter white, and I will just put a little bit on the top of the flower there and also in the petals as well. So I'm going to use my white gel pen a fair bit through this just to give it some nice white highlights because it's quite dark without it. So just repeating the same steps on the other orange flowers now. So I'm going to start on the ribbon going around her. I wanted it to be a blue-green more than a green because I'm going to use a fair bit of green in the leaves and plants around her. So I'm using BG49 for all of the shadow areas first. So anywhere where there's already marked a shadow is where I'm kind of going in. So you can see on that ribbon around her neck there's some lines coming out. So I'm just following along those lines now. So I'm just going over that colour with some BG07 to lighten that off. So this is a little bit more blue than green. So just coming over the top of the previous colour and extending that a little bit further out. So we're going a little bit lighter again using BG34 now. So just going in and extending this a little bit further out. I've only got one more colour, so I'm just leaving enough of a gap to put that last highlight colour on now. So the last colour I've got there is BG53, and I'm going over the rest of the areas now. So there'll be no white left there. I will put some little white flecks and things through it with the gel pen later on. So just coming back in to finish off the red flowers at the top there, so I'll use the same colours as I did previously. So I wanted to put some bright pink through, so I've got some RV colours here. I've got RV09 for the shadow colours. I'm going to do this on the top of her head here and also on some of the flowers down on her body as well. Swapping that colour now for RV06 and going over the previous colour, extending it a little bit further out. Then just swapping out again now for the RV04 and finishing off most of the flower now. I have left a little white section there for the lightest colour just to give it a little bit of a highlight as well. So I'm swapping to the last colour now, which is RVO2, and finishing off the remainder of that flower. So I wanted to have some nice bright colours, so we've got yellow, red, pink, and I'm going to bring some purple in, and then we'll have a whole heap of greens and a little bit of brown there as well. So just starting on the twig that goes around and through some of those flowers there, I've got some E59 to start with, and I'm going to go into all of the shadow areas and anywhere where there is a dark line on this one. I'm going to go over the top of that now with some E18, just extending that a little bit further around to the twig. Just swapping to E17 now. And now just to finish off that stick, I've got E15 finishing off the remainder of the white areas. I'm going to use a few different types of green to go around on the leaves. I'm starting with G09 first. And going a little bit lighter to G05. Just keeping the remainder of that area white for the highlight colour. So now I'm going to come in with G02, so G02. So you can see that because there was already darker shadow lines in there, all I've done is go over those to create the green look. So you've got your shadows and everything in that section now. So I'm just going to repeat the same steps over a few different leaves and plants throughout the rest of the image. Okay, so swapping out for some different greens now. I've got some G29 and I'm just coming into the shadow areas of some of these other plants here. So I've only left a few leaves there left for a lighter colour. I've got G17 to blend all of that out again. And then finishing off those sections there with the last highlight colour, which is G14. So we've just got those remaining leaves to do now. So I'm going to start with YG99 this time for the darker shadow areas. I just missed a little bit of area there for the GO2, so I'm just going back in and filling that out now. Okay, so just finishing this off now again. So we're coming back to the YG colours. I've got YG67, just blending that out a little bit further. Then coming in with some YG63 and just blending that further out again. And then for our final highlight colour there, I've got YG61. So I'm just going to repeat the steps starting from YG67 on these larger leaves at the top here now. Okay, so I'm just going to fill out the rest of the roses with the red here at the top, and I'm going to use some purple through the larger roses just down a little bit further, so we've got a little bit of a colour change there as well. So just using R29 at the moment. And then swapping out to R27. And then back to R14 again. So just finishing those details off there. So you can see I did a couple of little, I think they're like, they could be buds or they're little berries on the her top there as well. So I've just done those in that colour. So I'm just filling out some purples now. So I've got V09 as the shadow colour. Just going to blend that out now with some V06. And then I've got some V04. Just leaving a little sort of tiny little spot of white on those. We're going to put some white gel pen in there to lighten it up anyway. Just going to repeat this on the remaining flowers down the bottom. So this little top flower up here, I'm going to do pink. I've got RV06. and then going over that with some RVO4. And then the little tips of the flowers I'm doing is RVO2. I'm going to use some yellows for the middle of the flowers. So I've just got some Y13. Just kind of filling out the rest of the details now. We've still got the hair to finish off. I'm going to use the same colours that I used in the or the twigs or the vine part that went through there. So we're starting with E59 and we're blending it out with E18, E17 and E15. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm just going to use that E15 on this little, I think it's a beehive or something down the bottom here. Just doing it on the darker lines first. Then I'm going to blend that out and do a line of E33 over that, and then finally over the top of everything, E31. So just finalising the rest of the little plants there. It looks like a little bit of fungus on the trees down there, and also I've got a couple of leaves up here which I'm making a lot lighter. So I'm using YG06 first. It was really quite faded out, so I've decided to use some YG09 in those darker areas just to build them up. Just going to blend that back out with that YG06 now. So it's just deepened up those shadow areas a little bit more. I've got some YG23, and then I'm going to go over the top of the final highlight areas with some YG21. So they're nice light, bright green leaves there now. I'm going to use the same colours in the little sort of fungus area underneath the leaves there, and also on the other side as well. So just using some YG23 there, just in the shadow areas, and then I'm just going to blend that out with the YG21. So this one's actually finished now once I've finished off these areas here. I'm not going to do the background. I really quite like the white behind the green. It made it really stand out, and the colours look really nice and bright because of that. So that's everything. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Also, if you would like to have a look at Patreon, all the links are in the description below for that, and also I'll put the link to the Etsy bookstore as well down the bottom there. If there is anything else, please do let me know, and thanks so much for watching guys, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Just before I do go, I did just darken up the areas on the ribbon part here with that BG49 again, and also don't forget to do those highlight sections with your white gel pen or some white opaque paint. That's it guys, thanks so much.